drought-tolerant plants for your drought-tolerant garden. So, not all of us have the benefit of having a lush, moist environment for our gardens. If you live in Florida, if you live in Arizona, Texas, a hot climate that rarely rains, or at least is very hot most of the time, you're going to need some very specialized plants because regular plants are just going to dry out and die. So a good option is to specially choose drought-tolerant plants, especially for the summer or just if it's always hot where you are, So the main thing is to choose plants that are naturally accustomed to hot, dry weather. I'm going to start with one of my favorites because I have an unforgettable experience with specifically rosemary. Rosemary is one of my favorite herbs to grow because it is so resilient. It will last way too long for its own good. I once had, I've been southwest Florida, where it's, it rains, but at certain parts of the year it will not rain for several months. So, serious drought problem. Now, rosemary is good because I once had a rosemary in a container, and I kind of gave up on it. I was like, all right, I'm done with this rosemary. I'm not going to touch it and see what happens. The rosemary survived for several months without any type of water at all. And in baking sun, 90-degree heat, maybe even hotter, every single day, no water, it still survived. It eventually died, but it still survived for way longer than I thought it would. So if you kill plants very easily, and you just can't figure out what's the problem, just get rosemary, it will survive, Main thing, don't overwater it because it is a dry Mediterranean plant. But, other than that, it will just grow. It will grow, you won't really have any problems, it's very resilient, it's kind of like a shrub, sort of thing. So definitely go for rosemary. Also, it's great for cooking, if you like that rosemary chicken, rosemary fish, or whatever you're gonna cook. Very good, fragrant herb. But then, moving on to actually a similar type of plant, lavender. Lavender is another Mediterranean plant, very accustomed to dry, hot environments. Lavender is a very beautiful plant, it has that beautiful fragrance to it, very attractive appearance with the purple flowers. Very resilient, again, it doesn't need much water, it can tolerate very high temperatures. And it's just good to have. Again, you can kind of use it a little bit in cooking, not as popular as, say, rosemary, but you can still definitely use lavender in cooking. A lot of people will use it, to make soap. Or, of course, you could also use it to decorate your home, just get some sprigs of lavender and dot them throughout your home and have a nice fragrant lavender scent. But in general, it's just a nice thing to have around. It's very hard to kill. So again, if you think you have the farthest thing from a green thumb, you can probably still grow lavender. Now, the obvious other choice is cacti and succulents. Succulents are one of the easiest things to grow, at least what I have seen. And in my distant past, I can say I was one of those people who would kill just about everything, every type of plant except succulents. Succulents are really resilient. They, they're one of those plants where you could just forget about them and not water them for a long, long time and they will still survive, And succulents are very pretty. They come in many different colors, many kind of formations that kind of look like a little bit like flowers almost. Very attractive plants. They can be small, they can be very large. So you can have a lot of fun with succulents, many different options to enjoy. Sometimes they produce little stalks of flowers once a year or so. And one of my favorites is actually aloe vera. Of course, if you burn yourself on the stove, you can use your aloe vera to soothe that burn, that sort of thing. And it can also be used other ways. Some people use it for mixing into smoothies. I don't think it's that great, but you could also use it for soap, if you like making soap. And cacti in general are also very pretty to have, once they have those flowers and things like that. And they just kind of that more exotic look, cacti. And there are, again, many different species of cacti. They are very easy to grow, very hard to kill, So very nice to have in your drought-tolerant garden. Now, if you want to go for flowers, there are also quite a few flower drought-tolerant plants that produce really great flowers. Like the California poppy is a really good option, very beautiful flowers. You know, they don't mind full sun, high heat, all that good stuff. Russian sage is also a really good one. It produces very beautiful purple flowers, very fragrant type of plant. Similar to rosemary, it's kind of on the same vein as it's very hard to kill. You can not water it for a very long time. It will still withstand even your neglect. So really good, very attractive thing to have in your garden. And it attracts pollinators, things like that. Very beneficial plant to have, even in the hottest months. Catmint is another very attractive plant with purple flowers that will withstand most droughts. It is great for attracting butterflies and bees, a bunch of other pollinators, you know. Another one of those beneficial plants can act as a good companion plant as well for your garden. And it's kind of a relatively larger plant. It can get up to 3 feet tall, kind of a shrubby looking sort of bush. So those are some of the main drought-tolerant plants that you can add to your garden, or if you just want to grow them on your own, in containers or in the ground for your landscape. You know, they're very, very versatile, very hard to get rid of. You don't have to take care of them that much. They don't need any micromanaging. They kind of just fend for themselves. They know how to be sturdy enough to just survive. But if I had to recommend, say 2, the most, I would say rosemary and lavender, because the rosemary has many purposes, you know, as an herb. You can use it for cooking and things like that. Meanwhile, the lavender is nice to look at, has a good smell, and that. So you kind of get the best of both worlds if you plant those 2. But of course, the other ones also are very beneficial as well. And this is just a small list, and there are many other plants and flowers and things like that you can definitely plant even in very hot, dry areas. So hopefully this video was helpful, and if it was, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe. I make a few videos throughout the week, so don't miss those.